Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 10 at 10 premiere for August 9th of 2022.
I'm Tim. This is my brother Matt. We're MrMaple.com. We're a mail-order business, small family business in Western North Carolina, and we ship directly to your door. We release at least 10 new plants every Tuesday at 10 a.m. That's what this is. Today we're listing 20. If you want to find out about the other 10, make sure you sign up for our weekly emails on MrMaple.com. Like this video and share this with your gardening friends.
Hey, we're passionate about trees and we love growing colorful plants. We love sharing that passion with others, and these videos are becoming a great way to do it. Shout out to our international community. We have a lot of people watching from abroad. We apologize we can't ship to you, but we greatly appreciate you watching. Let us know in the comment section below where you're watching at. We always love seeing that. It's becoming a real fun thing to check out, and it's just fun to see where everybody's gardening from too. So with that said, let's dive right into it. We've got Orange Dream up first here on the table.
Yeah, Orange Dream is a plant that just gives some really good yellow out there in the color in the garden. Really gives some nice oranges in the early spring, then some yellows, and then really some nice oranges to reds, and sometimes even pink reds in the fall.
Hey, we don't encourage anybody to drink, but it could become a Mr. Maple drinking game every time Tim says he likes a yellow in their videos, and he likes to garden with yellows. So this is an amazing orange spring color that goes to some awesome shades of yellow with even pink accentuations over that. Orange Dream is a classic from Ghirardelli Nursery there in Italy, and just a beautiful tree. This one definitely needs some late day shade, so don't put this one in a hot afternoon sun for its best color patterns. A little early morning sun, especially in some of those cooler zones, can really pick up that orange in the early spring, but awesome plant and a classically orange fall color.
And this one, if you give it some morning sun, can really get a nice butter yellow color out there in the landscape, and really have a really nice upright, dense habit that really contrasts well with the dark colors or brightens up those dark spaces in your garden. Next we have Acer palmatum eye candy. Some really good size eye candies right now. Eye candy is one of those plants that just leaves out in the spring with some really nice pink reticulation. Definitely a plant that's really pretty and can really, I mean, it's eye candy, and that's why the name is said that way. Eye candy.
Really,
yeah, really, really good pink color.
So Talon Buckholtz named this one as well. And a little play on words there. Almost looks like Romanji, but he put I, like the letter I, but obviously eye candy, I-K-A-N-D-I. Awesome sizes on these. This one, it has its best color if you can leaf it out very slowly. So if you can have a slow, gradual spring, your colors are gonna be much better on this. Some years where it's a little hotter, it'll be a little more washed out, but it doesn't lose its variegation. So it's when the variegation's still in there. You just wanna make sure it leaves out slowly. And because of that, I recommend not hitting it with a lot of high nitrogen in the early spring, and siding it sometimes with a little bit more shade so it'll leaf out a little bit slower too. That always helps too.
And I recently saw on a Facebook post people saying that they've reverts every summer and they keep cutting it back, but they can't stop it. Well, don't worry, it doesn't revert. This new growth during the summer doesn't show the reticulated variegation, but it will the following spring. So don't worry about that. But this is a really cool reticulated plant.
Yeah.
I mean,
when it hits, it's one of the most striking of that Higashiyama style variegations. That's why Talon named it. Larger foliage. And there'll be a little bit green this time of the year. So when you get these, just know that they're gonna be a little greener. There's some variegation in there for sure, but they're definitely gonna be a little greener, especially in our greenhouses, but an awesome plant, often sought after for that extreme splash. Think of Higashiyama with a little bit more purple sometimes in it too.
Yeah, and it can just really be some of the most intense colors of that pink purple. And plant that's really cool. I mean, this used to be one of the plants that was on our business cards all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
This pink type reticulation. And really awesome plant.
Lovely plant. So next up here on the table, we have Acer palmatum koi. Now we recently did a video on this plant. Mr. Maple introduction here.
Koi has some just amazing colors throughout the season. It leaves out as almost a bronze color in the spring, then goes to a green, and can really have, during the new growth flushes, some really nice, it's almost peaches to yellows on the new growth. So it really gives you a lot of good color contrast throughout the season. But it's one of those Makawa variants, and it's the first Makawa variant that had that bronze spring color.
Yeah, we selected this one for having a very unique color. It pairs extremely well with Mayday and Japanese Princess, which are some of the most populars, as well as Mystic. Makes a great accompaniment to those. I think you're gonna love this one. It's gonna pair really nicely with our upcoming Red Panda, which is one of the best reds. I think koi really adds something to that set, and it's just a unique plant. I mean, I'm a big fan of it. It has almost a cartoonish style leaf. The leaf is very, it almost looks like a drawing of a leaf. So it's very uniform, still got that dense, nice Makawa habit to it, but an excellent plant. I think it's gonna be one that continues to grow in popularity for its color, But definitely don't wait on these. Koi are gonna move pretty fast today.
Yeah, the foliage, like Matt talked about, is really special about this one. It really has some really nice crisp foliage that cups and twists a little bit sometimes, which gives us something a little bit extra. Speaking of a plant that has a lot of good foliage, this one is definitely one that is a very unique lace leaf. This is Midori no Tiboku, and the thing that's really neat about this is it's a deeply divided lace leaf, but it really doesn't have deeply divisions on the sublobes. And so it gives a real soft feel for a nice sweeping lace leaf.
Yeah, it has a really nice approach to it, a low arching habit to it. Excellent yellows in the fall. It's a green lace leaf. It's gonna have some really nice shades of yellow to orange. Really beautiful. I mean, I think this one really shows out in that fall garden, but excellent small lace leaf as well. It's a great candidate for container gardening or in the ground. It's gonna make that low cascading umbrella, typically about 4 feet tall, about 5 feet wide, and a really nice arching habit to it.
Yeah, I think this one is actually accredited to Talon Buchholz from the Floral Wonder collection, but it was, another name for this is Dr. Corbin. And if you see a plant out there with the name Dr. Corbin, it is Midori no Tiboku, if it's labeled correctly. And the neat thing about this plant too is it's a really short, low spreading lace leaf. So it's not only the foliage that's really neat, but this plant is just really short and a really wide grower.
Excellent habit to it, excellent branching. It's a nice lace leaf. Like Tim was saying, the leaf is very unique to it. It stands out amongst a lot of the others. It's definitely gonna look very different than your emerald lace and your waterfall in the collection, and just give you some diversity there of green lace leaves. And a good grower too. It's an excellent small plant. So next up we have another MrMaple introduction here. We have Strawberry Fields. So cue all the Beatles music there for you Beatles fans. Strawberry Fields forever. Beautiful plant. This is actually a tree that we put a name on here. It was actually gifted to me, the original seedling, by Jonathan Savage. He's the gentleman who named Lillian's Jewel. So awesome tree. He sent this to me. He said he wasn't going to evaluate it and put a name on it, but he thought I might like it. And I said yes, and I traded him some really cool stuff for it. So really fun plant here. Acer palmatum Strawberry Fields.
And Strawberry Fields has some really nice strawberry reticulation in the spring. It has, instead of a reticulation like the Higashiyama style, like Ikandi, this one has more of like a ghost-like reticulation to it, where you really see the etchings of each of the veins in the springtime. And then it goes from that strawberry color to more of a cream pink. And then during the summer right now, it's more of a green, but we expect more of the oranges to reds in the fall.
Yeah.
Really neat, really different. And the leaf itself is very serrated and is quite unusual and stands out in the greenhouse among the other reticulated types.
I would say so for sure. This one reminds me a little bit of Will's Divine in that you can get some really funky colors on it. Not only does it have that kind of strawberry new growth, I've had some of that emeraldy color behind that. Makes a great contrast to it in itself. We must have been in a Beatles state of mind when we were naming this one. We had that sister seedling that never made the cut. I don't think it ever made it, but we had a yellow submarine that was a sister seedling to the Dragon Master. So the Strawberry Fields actually made the cut. It made it into cultivar status. The yellow submarine, maybe that'll be another later introduction down the road, but Strawberry Fields was the Beatles name that made it out there. Let us know if you have a classic rock garden. I think we've named a few trees with some classic rock names. You know, I'm always partial to ones with names of songs that I like. So let us know too what your favorite tree or plant is that is also named after a song.
And being this is a reticulated type, I would recommend giving it sun protection from the hot afternoon sun to hold that reticulation longer throughout the season.
We had a Foxy Lady. That's a Hendrix, but then we also had Cashmere. We have Cashmere coming. We've got some good song titles I can think of off the top of my head.
So this is a plant that won't last long. It always sells out quickly. Acer palmatum Deshojo, great for bonsai, but is also good for the landscape and garden for giving you some intensity on that bright fire engine red in the spring that looks almost like it's in fall color in the springtime. Does go to a green during the summer, but with some bright fire engine red in the fall.
Yeah, excellent. Always heavily requested for bonsai. Check out our video, top 5 bonsai. We talk about Shin Deshojo as well as Deshojo in that one. Excellent tree for bonsai. Small foliage, always highly sought after for that. We actually share a bonsai picture often with this. We don't send you a mature 40-year-old bonsai, but you can start one from these 1 gallons. People are like, is this what shipping? Like, yes, for $35, we have a 40-year-old custom done bonsai. No, but these are awesome plants. You're gonna love these. Deshojo it sells out quickly because it's recommended in the bonsai books for bonsai, so people love it, but it makes an equally good tree in the landscape. Don't be afraid to plant this one and enjoy its spring flushes. It's classic for looking like fall color even in the spring with that amazing kind of pinkish red, and classic Japanese maple. One of the older Japanese maples, but it's one that's been around a while, but we love offering it.
Yeah, and all these Japanese maples are grafted, including these Deshojo that we're offering today. And don't be afraid to turn a grafted plant into a bonsai.
Yeah.
If you go check out the North Carolina Arboretum where we went, you'll see a couple Japanese maples there on display at the North Carolina Arboretum in the bonsai exhibit that are grafted Japanese maples.
I always like to let the bonsai guys know this is a great way to start. You can plant this, you can air layer from it for bonsai, you can collect seedlings from it, or you can do rooted cuttings for this for bonsai later. But it's a great way to start your bonsai collection, whether you're going to bonsai a 1 gallon directly, but it also gives you material to grow from for years to grow. So one of the easiest ways is to plant this and collect from it.
I think that's what Mike Wilson does down there in his garden. He does a lot of bonsai, one of our good friends. And what he does is he just puts some trees out there in the landscape that he can work with, air layer, and he's continually has a plant that's growing on more
material. So start with a landscape tree. It's gonna be the gift that keeps on giving for your bonsai experiments. Don't think you have to bonsai just this one plant.
Which you can do.
You can do that too. But so next up, we've got Geisha. Not Geisha Gone Wild, but Geisha.
I fell in love with this plant when we went to Talon Buckholz's years ago. I mean, he had a big one in a container that everyone always talked about. And every time we went there, it was a bright pink, which this plant goes to in the fall, and that's typically when we'd go visit him. But the springtime pinks are just as amazing as the fall on Geisha.
I mean, Geisha itself is amazing. It's got really bright pink color, like Tim said to you. It's an excellent container plant. You can grow it in the ground, but it's an excellent candidate for a big pot or container. It tends to be very oval in its growth, so it tends to be more of a little small dome. Not a huge plant. Awesome color patterns. You're definitely going to want late day shade on this one. It doesn't want to be in heavy late afternoon sun. Awesome color palette though. I mean, it is every bit as showy as Geisha Gone Wild, which was a sport found on this. Sometimes it'll keep giving that sport back, so don't keep naming them. We've already got Shiraz and Geisha Gone Wild. We don't need the third or fourth one of that series. We've found it here multiple times. So Geisha is an awesome plant though, and one that's just fun. It kind of looks different every single year too.
Yeah, it's one of those plants that is really, really great. I do like to do this as a container plant. It is one that you want to give good drainage, and I reiterate that because it really doesn't like to have wet feet on this one. But this is a plant that is amazing, that just keeps on putting pink displays. And it's a really, really, really bright pink. It's pretty consistent in the spring with that pink.
Oh yeah, it is a showstopper for the color. Tends to be very multi-branched in its approach. And like I said, a little bit more doming. It tends to fill out and be a nice little compact habit to it. Much more compact than Geisha Gone Wild, but a really nice overall plant for sure. I think you're gonna enjoy this one, especially in the patio garden. If you've got a shady spot where you want something just lighten the world up, it's a great candidate for that.
And I would say this one is probably one of the most consistent ones that's a hot pink every spring, which is really unusual for, I mean, a Japanese maple that's consistently a very hot pink.
It's hot pink to soft pink the whole year for the most part, and a really nice red in the fall.
Really cool plant.
These don't last long either, I'll let you.
So we've got some 2 gallons on Acer palmatum Lima Gold. Excellent little bonsai. I mean, it's basically like a Makawa variant with smaller leaves. So it's really awesome, has that tightly layering habit, and is a really cool plant. Some really good 2 gallons here. And these
are very popular for bonsai, and you can see why. They're very multi-stemmed in our 2 gallons. Very small, compact tree. Shout out to Ed Shin, as you've noticed before. We've always talked about Ed with this one. All the Lima Golds, they came from Red Maple Nurseries, but Ed bought one of the original ones from Red Maple Nurseries, and so all the grafted ones we have in the trade come from Ed's original tree.
Yeah, and really, really cool plant, very dense, very dwarf. I think a lot of our photos are actually from Ed's tree as well, because again, his was one of the very first ones. But this is such a cool plant because it is everything people love about Makawa Yatsubusa, being a tight, dense dwarf, but also a smaller leaf. I mean, that's really what makes this thing so cool, so unique, and gives this plant such an interesting structure.
I definitely consider it part of that Makawa family. I know Andrea Link, good customer, shout out to her. She has some good pictures of this. Andrea says she likes this better than Makawa. I don't know if that's blasphemy. You can let us know in the comments below there. But she likes Lima Gold even better than Makawa Yatsubusa. I think it's an awesome one that easily fits into that family, and I can see why. I mean, it's one that should be more popular, especially if you want a bonsai Makawa. Lima Gold's the way to go.
Pretty awesome plant.
We just did a recent video on this one as well. Next we have Acer palmatum Elizabeth. The awesome color patterns of this one really make it popular. It gets some really nice, I mean, bright pinkish purple to it. It's a really unique color pattern and just a great plant. It's a small, compact broom form that's gonna look great in the ground, also in a container garden.
Late spring is the time when I like this the most because that pinkish purple Matt talked about is starting to fade, but lime green is coming into the leaf. And so you get a two-tone effect that you don't get on many of the other red witches brooms. Really awesome little dense dwarf for containers, fairy gardens, small spaces, and something that's really unique and really different.
Yeah, awesome plant. This one does great in the ground as well, but as I talk about in that video, it's a popular one for the container garden because you can play around with the colors a good bit, and really awesome color palette. I mean, it's very unlike a lot of the other brooms that are out there in that it has a ton of pink in it. I mean, it really stands out. It pairs really well with Shayna or something like a Rhine because of all those color palette differences. But I love Elizabeth. I think it may be one of the showiest red brooms we do.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. It also is one of those plants that doesn't last very long, so make sure to check out with it quick. We always want to tell everybody when you add them to your cart, it doesn't save them for you. It doesn't save them for you until you check out. So it doesn't hold it for you. Keep that in mind. Be quick to check out with some of these because they don't last very long. Also, before we get into this last one, we've got a summer open house coming up on Labor Day. And that's gonna be on the Saturday before Labor Day from 8 to 12. That's a hard cutoff at 12. And then on the Monday itself of Labor Day from 8 to 12 here at MrMaple. You have to check that out. Really cool. I just wanted to tell y'all before y'all started signing out.
Great sizes too. We've got some big stuff. Some stuff you'll want to buy in ones because it's gonna be hard to ship it so big. There's some awesome plants on there. Definitely come out, check us out. No bells and whistles on this one. We got a lot to do that day. We're gonna be having a 70th birthday for Mom, so no band or speech this time. We'll probably be announcing a fall open house for you folks that can't make it to this one, but you're gonna wanna be a part of this one. There's some awesome sizes. This is gonna be our summer open house for 2022, and we're gonna have it 2 parts. And the reason is to get you out of here before it gets too hot. So 8 to 12, heavy cutoff both days, but you add the 2 together, you'll get a full 8-hour day. And I think it's gonna be a lot of fun this way. And it's an easier way to get out here and interact and see you guys, but also not go too late into that day. Come check out the Apple Festival, and hey, swing by MrMaple first, then go check out the Apple Festival, actually.
The last one we're talking about is Acer palmatum Winter Red. So Winter Red, this is an awesome plant. It's got that bright red. It's probably during the winter months, it may have some of the reddest, deep red bark if you give this tree some sunlight. And the intensity of the bark comes on more and more during the winter.
Yeah, insanely bright red. Really gets some nice, almost like pink red at some points. It's so bright. It's an excellent tree. Underrated fall color on these. Golden yellow with splashes of red in them as well. These are gonna work zone 6 through 9. And just a great plant overall. I think you're really gonna enjoy this one in the maple garden. Especially with any of the coral barks, make sure good drainage is the key. They don't want to be in boggy or wet feet. That's true of any Japanese maples, but it's especially true of your coral bark maples. Also of utmost importance, anytime you're growing Japanese maple, you want them shut down going into winter, so you don't want them super active with fertilizers going into your winter months. That'll give you your best bark and your best health on your coral bark Japanese maples for sure. So Tim said these are the 10 Premier Island 10 at 10, but wait, there's more. If you sign up for that email, there's actually another 10 trees. So we've got 20 trees listed at 10 a.m. today. That's every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So you got to be reminded sometimes that's Eastern. I get some folks on the West Coast that say, I don't see it. And go, hey, it's 10 a.m. Eastern. So remember about that. That's our time frame here in North Carolina where we're shooting these for you. And we hope you enjoy this kind of stuff. We're passionate about Japanese maples, so we love jumping on here and talking about these. We do this all off the cuff. If you want to know the truth, we don't really have a script. We just get up here and talk about our favorite trees, and we hope that passion translates to you guys because we love this stuff. It's something we're super interested in, and we want to make the kind of content that we would watch. So if you're enjoying this content, definitely like, subscribe, and share. We still have a current giveaway going on with the hashtag Japanese Maples. So if you're watching this one live, hashtag Japanese Maples. We're gonna be giving away some gift cards as we get into 15,000 subscribers. It's coming up fairly soon, I'm guessing. So we really appreciate that. And if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe to our channel. We do giveaways for our subscribers here. And it's just a fun community too. We're really enjoying that community we're building in those premieres. Hop in those premieres and talk to us. We love catching up with everybody. I mean, shoot, I feel like it's my time every week to check on Brandon, see what he's doing, talk to my different friends in there, and be like, how's your week going? And I love seeing where everybody's commenting that they're from. Those are really cool when people pop in that chat and they're like, hey, we're watching this from the UK, we're watching this from Australia. Like, guys, we really appreciate you watching. It makes it super fun.
We really appreciate everything. We appreciate all those viewers, we appreciate all those customers, and we appreciate y'all, you know, supporting us because we love doing this and we love sharing our passions with you. Make sure, like Matt said, to like, subscribe, and share. Take care.
God bless.
And have a great day.